Kindness rocks are a lovely project that you can do with people of all ages, from your grandchildren to your grandmother, or sitting with a group of friends over a glass of wine. And they should spread a little bit of happiness and kindness as we hide them and they get discovered. I'm in the middle of a project to paint 100 to give out at our village show. I'm up to 70, so I'm making good progress. I want to share my process with you. Prepare them, background, details, and seal them. Then I want to share 15 design ideas that I think you'll find really simple, even if you think you can't paint. And I hope that will get your creative juices flowing. Let's get started. So, of course, you need your rocks to start with. I just bought a big bag of pebbles from my local garden centre. If you collect them from a riverbed or the seaside, do go careful, because if it's a site of special scientific interest or it's particularly a sensitive area, you will potentially get in trouble for collecting pebbles. Do be sensitive to the environment. Then you need to wash them just to get rid of any impurities. A little soapy water is fine. You do not have to wash them in your dishwasher, which is what I saw someone suggesting. I like to prime them. You can use gesso. This is white. You can get black gesso. You can get clear gesso if you want the actual stone to show through. And the advantage, if I show you, it just makes it a little bit lighter, so colours really show up well. But it also fills some of the dings and tiny holes in the surface, and it gives something for the paint to really grip onto. Very thin coat is all you need, and that needs to dry. I would always suggest doing a whole batch of them at a time, because then you've got them ready and waiting for when you want to actually get the colour out and do the fun bit. You don't have to do both sides if you don't want to, because we're only going to paint one side of the pebble. If your gesso's dried, we need to do a base coat. Now, if you haven't got gesso, you could just paint straight on the rocks and go for it, so don't worry. You can either use acrylic paint. They do not have to be smart. You can get acrylic paint from the discount shops. You may find if your paint is cheap, it's craft paint, you'll have to put 2 coats on. The alternative is to use acrylic markers, and I prefer to use acrylic markers. I just think they're easier to control on such a small sort of area. Don't know about acrylic markers, they always need to be shaken before you start. Can you hear that ball? That's just shaking the ink up. And you can get them with different nibs. You can get them with brush nibs like this, which I find really versatile, or little bullet nibs, or really thick nibs. So just use what you've got. You might want a palette, and you might do one colour, like we are here. Can add a little bit of water to make it easier to spread and fill in any little dings in the pebble. You might want to blend it. And again, you could use a palette or put it straight on. So you might want to blend a few colours to get some variation. Acrylic paint dries waterproof, so when it's wet like this, you can move it around with water, but as soon as it's dry, it is not going anywhere. Work quickly and don't get it on you. And it's just the same if you're using pens. So while they're wet, you can put the colours down, get a damp brush and blend them. But the moment they're dry, they will be stuck. So work quickly is my top tip to you. Even, as you can see, even pens can be blended with a damp brush. This stone is still a bit wet, but I want to show you how you could sort of plan what you're going to do if you're not confident to just go straight in. So put it on a piece of paper, draw around it just roughly, and now you've got your area so that you can plan. And the first design is the simplest, and it's really how Kindness Rocks started, which was just writing a message. This isn't my favourite Kindness Rocks, because say you were having a bad day and you find a rock that says be happy, it can actually make you less happy. You know, someone's telling you to be happy and you're not happy and you feel even worse. So be careful with your messages. The idea is to bring that little bit of happiness and kindness into someone's day. But I might want to write something on this one. So I could plan it out on my piece of paper. I might say, and this is an absolute classic one, is "You rock." But you could plan it out and then you think, oh no, I don't like that how I've done that. I want capital letters, or oh, it's too small, I'm going to have to do something different. Choose whatever colours you fancy and start to write your message. Do let each layer dry in between, and of course add whatever little patterns and embellishments you fancy. That is your absolute classic kindness rock. The second design is very straightforward. Simply doing your background colour, then adding a very simple design on top. If you've got brush pens, hearts are incredibly easy to do. You can just use the shape of the pen to make little hearts. Number 3, very easy. Design and words, combination of those first two. So our fourth design, very simple, it's dots. You can do this on any colour background. I do think it looks particularly nice on black, I have to say. But this one I've got a, what colour would you call that? Gungy pinky orange. So start with a layer of dots in whatever colour you fancy. Make some of them a bit bigger. Choose another colour and add your next layer of dots. So just keep going till you get bored and you've got a very simple dotty one. Option 5, don't go for dots, go for stripes. These were on a black gesso background and then just stripes painted on top. I had to go over each stripe twice to make it show up. So stripes number 6, number 7, combine dots and stripes. This is sort of more of mandala one. Circly stripes, lots of dots on top until you're ready to go. Oh, and that's got hearts as well. I'm already getting lost. Am I on 7? I think I am on 7. If you've got some glitter, paint your pebbles, cover them in some glue, roll them in glitter, job's done. This is really simple, and actually I then actually put dots in between some of the glitter on those particular ones. So I did glittery backgrounds on this and then did some pictures on top, so another combination. We've got emojis. Paint your stone with yellow. Use a slightly darker yellow around the side to give it even more shape. Once that's dry, choose your favourite emoticon and use a black pen with white for highlights, or red in this case, and just copy the little faces. Next one, monsters. Top tip would be not to make them too scary because these may be found by children. If it's coming up to Halloween, maybe you want to do little pumpkin-y faces. Background colour, I did some of these with sort of metallic acrylics, which I thought were rather nice. Let it dry, and then we put some white on for the eyes and for the teeth. Let that dry. You'll need a finer black pen, and then let's get the eyes on. If we're clever about this, we could leave the highlights. If you accidentally go over the highlights, don't worry, because we can just use a white pen to put them back in right at the end. Let's get the mouth in. Give him freckles, give him, well, I don't know, whatever you want to do. But say, I personally wouldn't make them too scary. Next one is a little bug of some description. We've got ladybirds here with their spots, or just little beetles here. So if you've got a nice rounded one and you've already got black on it, you could start with that, or of course you can use a black pen and colour it in. I've got a gold pen here, and I think a gold beetle would be rather lovely. So I am colouring in the shell, leaving a blank space for where its head is. If you've got a sort of bullet nib like that, they're not so good for doing large areas. So of course, just get as much on as possible and then use a damp brush to smooth everything over. The brush nibs are a bit easier. While that's drying, I could get the white eyes on. A little smile because it's a very happy bug. Let that layer dry. You might want to just cover up to get a bit more dense coverage. Some of the black was showing through. Don't worry at all if, like me, you've just made a little bit of a boo-boo there. We can let that dry and then use our black pen to neaten up edges. Then we can put centre lining. I might be better off with a thinner pen. And put its antennae in. While I've got this black pen out, and just tidy up its eyes. So you can have a whole collection of little sparkly beetles or ladybirds. Pretty similar to the ladybirds are little bees. So if you've got a rock that shape, it's rather perfect for a bee. First, we need to get our stripes on. Next layer, let's get its eyes in. And in terms of its wings, you can see I've done on this one, I just did the white outline. On this one, I did a white outline with the black round it. Let's try something a little bit different. So I'm going to do a white outline, then use my damp brush, clean damp brush, and oh, it's dried already. I was going to fill it in, see if it would give me transparent wings. That dried really quickly. So let's be a bit quicker on that damp surface. Just give it slightly transparent wings. Oh, I think that's quite nice. But you can see how quickly you're going to have to work. Let those dry. Now with pretty fine black marker, I can put the eyes in. Try and leave the highlights. If you can't leave the highlights, just put them in once that black's dried. Let's give it a big smile just to show that the bee is not out to get us. Bees are our friends. We need them for the environment. And then put its little antennae in. So there's another little bee to add to our honey hive. I rather like these sunset ones, and they're remarkably easy to do. I'm going to do a coloured background. We're going to start with red up the top, remembering that we need to work quickly, maybe with some yellow down the bottom and a little bit of orange in the middle. Grab our damp brush, and before it's fully dry, just blend things. Let's have a go at actually putting the setting sun in the background. That's not doing enough. Add a little extra. Once that's dry, grab a Finish black pen and get going on your palm trees. So we'll start with the trunk. It's on a little island, so we can put a little island in there. Swoop down, swoop down, swoop down, swoop down, and that is the centre for your leaves. And then just little short strokes that will do the frondy bits. I think we need another frondy bit there, or another swoop down I should say. So we can put another one in and do the bits there, and that can cross over. Totally lost track where we are on numbers. This one is just simple animal. If you've got a sort of a fairly lozenge shaped stone, makes a brilliant little penguin. So I've started with the black, done a white tummy, put on the eyes and beak, and we have a fantastic little penguin. This one is meant to be a badger, just in case you wondered. So using the shape of the stone and just black and white, maybe with a little spot colour, is a really easy way of transforming it. The next idea is just to respond to the shape of the stone. I saw a tiny little pebble that looked like the moon to me, so I painted the moon. This one, on the other hand, looks like a segment of orange to me. So let's do a quick orange. If in doubt, get a piece of the fruit in front of you. So I've obviously painted it orange. I'm going to, oops, put the bits across, put some segments in. You could do this as stylized or as realistic as your inclination or ability, and in my case not ability, looking at that segment allows you to put some extra orange colour on and then use other oranges on top, oranges and yellows, to make the juicy little bits. And of course you could do segments of lemon, you could do watermelon, whatever you fancy. The final ones I want to show you are these little wildflower meadows, which just combine those techniques. It's a variegated background that goes from blue down to green, and then some grasses and stems on top, and then the flowers in layers to create that little meadow. I've got a full tutorial about these if you would like to have a look at them. So we primed it, we did the background, we did the details. What we now need to do is turn them over and write a message. You could write a message that says, keep me, share me, hide me again. But mine aren't big enough. I am a member of Reading Kindness Rocks, which is a Facebook group. And the idea is that maybe if people find one of these rocks, they can take a photo and share it there. You may find that there's a Kindness Rocks group near you that you could share and put their details on. You could put your own website on if you're an artist. Just go careful about sharing your personal information. All that remains to be done is double check that you have done everything that you want to do, and then add a coat of varnish. I've got this gloss acrylic varnish because it dries super quickly. You could use a spray varnish. They're going to be hidden outside, so you do want something that can help them stand up to a bit of weather. I would put a quick coat of varnish on both sides. And it just makes the colours pop as well, which is rather nice. Do be careful where you place your stones and hide your stones. I wouldn't hide them really in hard places because you want them to be found to bring that little moment of pleasure. Do be careful if you put them in anywhere like a national park, on a hiking trail, where they may be considered damaging to the environment. Whereas a park in the city, placing them on a bench where they'll be found, I don't think anyone could object to. I hope a few of these ideas have got your creative juices flowing and that you join the fun of this worldwide movement to bring a little bit of happiness to other people's lives. I would love to know your ideas for kindness rocks or happiness stones, so please do share them.